So my last video was on prepaying my very cheap mortgage. And I bet at least half the population has no idea how intertwined we are, how interconnected we are with the rest of the world. Because they buy our debt. They buy our treasuries, US treasuries and bonds and stuff. And that keeps our debt, our mortgage is a debt, right? Our mortgage rates low. Okay, I know it's 6.5 right now, but it could be way higher if we were financing it ourselves instead of having somebody else financing it, right? Now, obviously, I can't give all the pros and cons, all the nuance of this relationship in a 3-minute video. You're gonna have to research yourselves, but we use the poorer countries to obtain cheap goods. We use, China, Taiwan, for example, South Korea, etc., for their cheap goods. Otherwise, we'd have to make our own goods, and they're very expensive. We use Africa, as for example, for their cheap resources, to extract resources from them. Otherwise, we'd have to extract it from our own land, and it's very expensive, right? We use Central and South America, for example, for their cheap labor. Otherwise, we'd have to use our own labor, and there may be a labor shortage, right? It's not enough. So our own labor would be much more expensive. So we use the rest of the world, the poorer countries, to keep our lifestyle more affordable. And of course, to keep our billionaires, to make them even richer, to make the billionaires into trillionaires. That's right. We use the rest of the world. So it's not this like, oh, they're taking, some people think, they're taking advantage of us. These poorer countries are taking advantage of us? Were we stupid? Are we admitting to being stupid and weak? Is that what it is? No, we were in a position of power. We rule the world. That's why we use these other countries, and mainly to our benefit. Okay? We used to use their labor in terms of slavery, and then when slavery ended, we used indenture servitude. Like, you sign a contract for like 10, 20 years, and some people, of course, they never, they reneged on the contract, and some owners, right, and people ended up working much longer. Another word for slavery. Today, we use migrant labor. So we use the poorer countries to make our lives more affordable, more tolerable, and to make our billionaires even richer. And sometimes the other countries also benefit from it, sometimes.